The film begins with a man falling out of the balcony of an apartment on the ninth floor on a rainy night and onto the roof of a parked car. It might seem that he decided to take his own life, but an unknown person is standing on the balcony, watching the police arrive on the scene. Further, the plot takes us to Vincent Stevens, a successful architect whom the police are interrogating as they found the lifeless body of a girl. He denies guilt and says he is innocent, so the detectives ask the man to tell the story from the beginning. It is known that 5 married friends decided to diversify their life. In order to make this possible, they bought a cozy loft-style apartment where they could retire with their mistresses. Everything was fine, but only until the moment when Luke came and saw the bloody body of a girl on the bed, chained to metal racks. In the present, Vincent continues to communicate with the detectives and reports that he was at home in the morning, as his wife left for another city. Soon, a panicking Luke called him, demanding that his friend come to the loft immediately. Once in the apartment, a shocked Vincent saw the body of a girl lying in bed. He begins to speculate about who could have done such a thing. Luke reports that the door is locked and the alarm is off, which means that it is one of his own, the one who had the key. Now Luke, like other friends, is being interrogated at the police station and denies betrayal, as well as any involvement in the apartment. He has an abrasion on his face that he doesn't want to talk about because he has an alibi and was with Chris in the cafe this morning. In the morning, Chris came in third, followed by Marty, who were surprised. Trying to figure out who this girl is, Chris gently lifts her body, but no one recognizes her as they have never seen her before. Vincent asks his friends not to report the incident to the police and offers to sort everything out because they have known each other for a long time and can trust each other. A year before these events, Vincent, Chris, Luke, Marty, and Philip meet with their spouses at a party to celebrate the opening of Vincent's home. While Marty and Luke are busy talking to their wives, Chris meets the young and charming Anne, the personal assistant to the head of the city council. From the first minutes, the girl flirts with a psychologist since her late sister underwent treatment with him. Chris is a decent and loving husband, so he rejects the girl, not suspecting that his wife is watching all this. Philip is Chris' half-brother and the only one who has not yet had time to get married, even though everything is going to the wedding. Arriving at the party, he brought with him 2 seductive beauties. Vincent suggests taking a break from the girls to see the loft-style apartment, located on the 9th floor. After showing his friends the accommodation, Vincent offers to buy it together in order to bring their mistresses and not arouse suspicion in his wives with extra expenses, checks from the hotel and restaurants. While the 4 of them are in the apartment with the girl's body, the friends continue to try to understand the situation. Luke gets nervous and wants to leave the apartment, but the others stop him. At some point, Marty notices the inscription on the bed and, throwing the pillow away, sees a message written in Latin. Under interrogation, Chris, who knows this language, translates the message. This is an excellent alibi for him because he notices a spelling mistake and points out that he would not have made it. The detectives also question Chris about his half-brother Philip and his younger sister, who grew up in terrible conditions. The man did not know anything about how they suffered, but now it is in the past, because Chris and Philip are not only brothers, but also best friends. Philip was the last to arrive at the apartment, as he did not answer the phone. Luke suspects that it was he who took the life of the girl and attacks his friend with fists. Philip did not do this as he has an alibi, and he spent the whole morning with his wife's father, Mr. Fry. Events are moved to a few months before this day, when Philip and Vicky celebrated their wedding day. Here Vincent gave his friends the keys to the cherished apartment, where they could have fun with their mistresses. Philip appreciated the wedding gift, but Chris was the only one who refused the key, as he is faithful to his wife. After receiving the key, Marty immediately noticed a charming girl with curls. It turned out that this was Philip's younger sister, Zoe, but this did not stop the friend's lustful fantasy. Seriously angry, Philip grabbed his comrade between his legs and threatened that he would severely punish him if he looked in her direction even once. Many drew attention to the aggressive behavior of the groom, but not Chris, because he again noticed the beautiful Anne. Having met in the garden, the girl admitted that her panties were in the chef's pocket and she likes to talk about it. Chris was equally excited and, feeling interested in the girl, in the evening took the key to the loft from Vincent. Vincent realizes that no one broke into the apartment, which means that the criminal is one of them. Trying to figure it out, he asks his friends to show them their keys. Chris is the only one who doesn't have the key, but that doesn't prove anything. Trying to unravel the mystery of what happened, the friends remember a family dinner where they gathered in a large company. Discussing fairly simple things, Marty, who had drunk too much, at some point almost revealed the shared secret of friends who bought a loft for entertainment with their mistresses. Realizing that he would blab, Luke threw his comrade out of his chair in time. Luke's wife Ellie was sympathetic to betrayal because she is sick and needs injections, so she is ready for the fact that her husband can find someone. The main thing is to stay with her. Vincent tries to undo the bloody girl's handcuffs, but fails. The man understands that they want to set them up and tries to understand who else was in this apartment. Getting deeper into each other's secrets, Chris reminisces about bringing Anne home and making love to her. Being in bed with a young beauty, he confessed his feelings to her. The girl took this negatively and, hastily leaving the apartment, admitted that she provides services for money and does not deserve love. Marty is also interrogated by investigators and defends Chris' honor by saying that he did not cheat on his wife. As for Marty, he is in a state of divorce and admits that he was with another woman. A few months ago, he, Luke, and Vincent traveled to San Diego for a construction company meeting. While Marty was looking for beauties, Vincent decided to meet a fat woman, assuming that she would have a very beautiful girlfriend. At some point, friends noticed Mr. Fry in the company of his mistress. He also saw them and, fearing exposure, promised Vincent a major tender to build a high-rise building soon in exchange for silence. Here, the men noticed Chris' mistress ignoring his calls. A little later, her friend Sarah joined the fat woman and Vincent did not fail because she is a real beauty. After getting to know each other better, friends with the girls went to the roof to swim in the pool. At some point, Marty left with the fat woman, and Sarah forced Vincent to undress, after which she naked herself. Luke decided not to interfere with the couple and, leaving them alone, went to Marty. The second comrade also had no time for him because he made love with a fat woman. The day before all the events, Vincent broke up with Sarah, choosing a wife. Now it becomes clear that the girl lying lifelessly on the bed is Sarah. Vincent is about to confess something when the phone rings. The realtor came to see the apartment Sarah was putting up for sale. The men panic and chase the unfamiliar woman away as they cannot let her enter the loft. Vincent admits that he was here with Sarah and broke up at night, but swears that he did not take her life and was not involved in the sale of the apartment. Chris revisits the day he met Anne in an attempt to talk and build a relationship. It was then that he gave the key to the apartment to his mistress, almost revealing himself to the wife of one of his friends. Luke continues to answer investigators' questions, and at some point the officer assumes that he is in love with Vincent. The man sharply rejects such assumptions, since he has a wife and such statements offend him. Philip does not believe in Vincent's story, and, grabbing a knife, demands to confess to the crime he committed. Taking the knife away, Vincent puts it back on the bed, after which he reminds Marty how his wife left him because of his mistress, who revealed their relationship. Being a true friend, Vincent tried to reconcile the couple, but he failed. After drinking, he continues to talk about the crime and suspects Philip, because it is he who loves to play with handcuffs. A few weeks before these events, Vincent and Chris came to the loft and were shocked by the picture they saw. Having taken the white powder, Philip lost control of himself and handcuffed an easily accessible girl to the bed. He accused her of stealing and raised his hand after using beauty. Friends are shocked by Philip's behavior and try to calm him down, but the guy does not give in to persuasion. Chris is disappointed by the behavior of his younger brother, who reminds him of the behavior of an inadequate father. Such a comparison offends Philip, because he suffered because of his drinking father, just as much as their younger sister Zoe. Meanwhile, Chris is trying to solve the problem and negotiate with the girl so that she does not go to the police. He offers to see a doctor, but the beauty takes all the cash and runs away, not wanting to stay next to Philip, who used her dirty. Luke realizes that he also has something to confess and reports that he has installed a hidden surveillance camera. Friends are shocked by this behavior and believe that he is a real crazy, secretly spying on their betrayals. As soon as Vincent rebukes Luke, he asks him what will happen if his friends find out the truth about what and with whom he was doing here. Immersed in the events of a month ago, Vincent recalls the party at which he learned that the tender for the construction was given to another company. Deciding to start blackmailing Mr. Fry, he almost told his wife about what had happened, but restrained himself at the last moment. Mimi came to the party to annoy Marty as they are getting divorced. He is lucky in the cards, but she is only glad of this because she will soon sue half of the property. She also reports that she could have already cheated on him and possibly with one of his friends. Here, Philip quarreled with his wife as she spoiled his sister, hanging around next to crowds of men. Meanwhile, Chris received a text message from Anne and went to the bathroom. It turned out that her boss, the head of the city council, wanted to meet him, who warned Vincent not to play with fire and blackmail Mr. Fry. A little later, Chris saw Anne too, having learned that she spent the night with him for money. Here, Philip decided to wrest Zoe from the hands of men, as a result of which a fight ensued and his father-in-law drove him out into the street. Vincent reassured his friend's sister, but Sarah became a witness to this, who was jealous of him for the young beauty. She decided to end her lover's relationship and tell his wife about everything, but Luke stopped the girl at the last moment, asking her not to do this. Vincent assumes that the wives guessed everything and framed their friends, but at the same moment he feels bad. The man loses control of himself and realizes that his comrades have mixed something into his glass. Now it becomes clear that 4 friends arrived at the apartment long before him and were the first to find Sarah. The girl swallowed pills and took her own life, leaving a farewell note. Friends wanted to cover for Vincent and solve the problem, but Luke asked them not to jump to conclusions. After talking about the hidden video camera, he showed several videos that showed that Vincent was deceiving all of them. He made love to Philip's sister, Chris' mistress, after which he paid her for the night with him, as well as Marty's wife. Having learned all this, the friends decided to take revenge on Vincent, who had betrayed his friendship. After discovering the girl's body, they planned a setup, because of which a friend could go to jail. Luke stole the farewell note, after which everyone left to provide an alibi. Philip stayed in the apartment and cut the girl's hand, wrote the inscription, and used handcuffs. Having drunk a friend, 4 comrades undressed Vincent and chained him to a girl, after which he fell asleep and fell into the hands of the police. While at the station, Vincent denies his guilt, but all the evidence points to him. Friends have an alibi, but the man understands that this is a lie. He understands that Philip was not with his father-in-law, he just covers him, as he was a victim of blackmail. The detectives do not trust Vincent's words, but still decide to check if he is really being honest with them. Releasing Chris, the female officer informs him that Sarah was alive and fell asleep forever not because of the pills, but a cut on her arm. Chris realizes that Philip is to blame for this and feels depressed. All 4 friends are free, and Chris arrives at the loft, inviting Luke to the apartment. He reports that someone stole Sarah's farewell note from him, and he found it in a dumpster. Chris also realized that it was Luke who put the apartment up for sale. Realizing that he is exposed, Luke confesses that he loved Sarah, but she rejected him and chose Vincent. At the moment when the couple broke up, he supported the girl and then got drunk. To take her life, he injected and wrote a note instead of Sarah. Chris informs Luke that the girl was still alive and they would have helped her, but Philip took her life. Upon learning this, Luke loses control of himself and tries to throw Chris off the balcony. Soon the man realizes that the police are about to arrive and his beloved cannot be returned. Resigned to this, he asks Chris to say goodbye to his wife and children, after which he jumps from the balcony and falls asleep forever. 6 months later, Mimi and Marty reconcile, changing their minds about getting a divorce. After saying goodbye to them, Chris goes to the parking lot where he meets Anne. He learns that she has become a free girl and quit her job. In turn, Chris reports that Philip is waiting for a court decision. Vincent is no longer their friend and lives in a loft apartment because his wife took everything else from him during the divorce. Anne is happy to see her lover and offers to have dinner, which makes him smile.